Hey everybody, Steve-O here for Movies and TVs on the Ball, and welcome to video 2 on my look at the Robin Hood films. This one is Robin Hood with the Fox. This is Robin Hood that came out in 1973, which kind of was surprising for me when I saw it the first time on VHS. I didn't know how old this film was. This film's about 50 years old now. And this is the first Robin Hood film that I really kind of understood the story of and kind of how the film worked. We have Robin Hood, who's played by a fox, and Little John, played by a bear, who is voiced by the voice of Baloo from the Jungle Book. And this film also had King or Prince John, who was played like a tiger, or not a tiger, a lion, and Maid Marian. But this one is a film that I kind of like loved as a kid. I mean, the story is a little bit different than kind of a little bit different in this in than the than the than the than the Disney film from 53. This one kind of deals with kind of like a storyteller, like the book, like in a lot of classic Disney films. It starts with a book, and we have the narrator, who's played by a rooster, and it kind of plays that 70s kind of music. Do 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 do. I really like this film. I like that we first meet Robin Hood as a as sort of a gypsy and a fortune teller, because they kind of are actually just hanging out, and then they see Prince John is on his way, and so they kind of scam Prince John playing fortune tellers, which was kind of really cool for me, because there's that scene where he's dressed up as a gypsy fortune teller, and she kisses the royal rings, and he gets the jewels in Little John's teeth. This one really works really good, because you really see that Maid Marian and Robin Hood kind of had more of a real friendship as kids, and their friendship turned into love, which you kind of see with Lion King, but that's a different thing. I really like the archery scene, where they are. He's disguised as like a bird, and he's really good at archery, which we kind of saw from watching the original 1970s or 1950 film I just reviewed. This one worked out pretty good. It's very charming. I liked Prince John, because Prince John is kind of a lion, and he sucks his thumb a lot, and he's mommy, and he has his right hand man Hiss, who is sort of the one who kind of watches out for him, and says that when John and Prince John and or no, Little John and Robin Hood play gypsies, she says, "Oh, they must be bandits," and he says, "Poppycock." I really like this film. I liked Maid Marian's and I did like the, uh, the the sheriff of Nottingham being kind of a big bad wolf, and kind of big, kind of fat wolf, and kind of his voice is so familiar to a lot of people, where he's like, hey, well, that kind of voice. Um, and he's so despicable because there's a scene where um, Sheriff of Nottingham puts some chains in the cup of somebody, of a poor person, and basically he takes it and grabs it from the air. I really like they had a final battle. They this film really kind of works. I like the disguise of him dressed as a duck and how he sees them. Marion in this film really, she kind of feels like the girlfriend, and she works really well with the like I like how she and Robin Hood kind of have a really good relationship together. They work really well together. I like, this one I kind of grew up with, so I have a lot of nostalgia for um, the. I think this, when people say uh, Robin Hood, I'm always thinking of this one. So this one comes to mind. I really liked. There's like a couple other scenes where they're trying to rob Prince John of his stagecoach, and Little John puts takes all the money and puts it into kind of drills a hole into one of the treasure chests, and he like puts it into his um, under his shirt. He tries to carry off cash. I really like the scene where Little John, or Prince John, has taxed everybody, and he's sleeping with all these bags of money, and Prince and Robin Hood and Little John use like a pulley system to take all the money out. It really works really good. I mean, this is a charming film. I really enjoy the fact that, I think this is when people say Robin Hood, this is the first film that kind of comes to mind. And I think watching it now, it still holds up after all these years. I think that the Maid Marian is I think they would redo it, which please do not remake Robin Hood for a live action film, Disney, because it looks so weird. But I think the one thing I probably would have to say is that Maid Marian, she's pretty much of a fun character in this one, but she doesn't really sort of she has sort of a very interesting, or like she basically, I think, plays it very fun, like and I also like the fact that Maid Marian and Robin Hood, and in this film version, that were kind of friends before they were in a relationship together. I really like the fact that the narrator kind of was folksy, was played kind of like a rooster. Um, and um, and I like the fact that they showed him kind of in and out of scenes where when they're doing the march, when he's in the jail, he's like, even I got into taxes. But this is a really good film. I'd probably say from my scale, from I like this one. I think because I grew up with this one, kind of pulls more at the nostalgia for me than maybe the Robin Hood, the one I just reviewed, the 60s or the 50s Disney film, because I feel like that one was done very well. Done really well, but I felt like this one is the one that really I kind of kind of gravitate to. So this Robin Hood, I say, um, I give it probably a 9 out of 10, or probably an 89, a 90 out of my 1 to 100 review. Let me ask you guys, what's your thoughts on this film? Did you grow up with it? Is this your kind of definitive Robin Hood film? Did you like the Friar? What was your thoughts on their? I think that Maid Marian and uh, Robin Hood really had a great relationship. Do you think that they had a great relationship? As a good couple. Did you like Friar Truck? Was there any characters you didn't like? Did you really like? Did you feel like the sheriff of Nottingham was a little bit kind of a jerk? And the way his voice is played, does that when does that make you feel like that that character really brings out something? But I really like this film. I give it a, like I said, probably an 89 to 90 on my scale, or if you want to do 1 to 5 stars, I give it a 4.9. This is a really good, film. It holds up after 50 years. I think, yeah, 50 years, 52 years actually. So let me know what your thoughts are on Robin Hood, and if you like what you see, please let me know. And this is Delightful Steve coming from you for Delightful Disney. See you at the movies. Bye.